Hey guys, coming back at you with a market update, and I was bullish last video, and currently I'm not looking at Bitcoin in a very bullish way. Of course, that could change, but I need proof to happen where I was expecting Bitcoin here to kind of continue trekking towards the upside and finally break that resistance. We do have a resistance on the daily. You guys can see the downtrend. It has held us down since October 7th. It held us down on October 29th, and here we are attempted to break. We got rejected right about here. Not ideal, not what I wanted to see, but it was okay because we ended up touching this trend line, and then we got a shot up the day after. But come US Open, we actually broke towards the downside. Now, this isn't end all be all here just because we broke down. That's fine. What we don't want to see really is we don't want to see us break this low here, because if we break this low, it opens up the door to actually go a lot lower. And 94K is on the table in that case, 86K is on the table as well, and we don't really want to see that. Instead, we want to see these lows hold, because if these lows hold, it means we still have a shot at actually breaking through this resistance here and targeting about 110K. So 110K, simple psychological resistance. We're going to take a box, slap it right on there, and say that's our resistance. Okay, and what we're looking at here is for us to actually break above here, because that'll be another sign that we're actually bullish. However, if we can't break up here, we might take another path and do something a little bit like that. So the first step here on Bitcoin, what we really want to see is reclaim this area somehow, some way. Maybe it's not exactly through this path. We could trend sideways and then move towards the upside. The main thing to remember is we don't really want to see us break down here. But as of right now, I think we are on the higher percent chance to actually continue this move to the downside. Things can change. They can change very fast. Bitcoin is constantly giving us new information to act on, which is why it might frustrate some people to be very wishy-washy with the price action, one day bullish, one day bearish. But that's kind of the point of trading, is that you adapt quickly and you are flexible depending on what data is being shown to you by the charts. I don't want to have a bullish bias. I don't want to have a bearish bias. I want to be able to be reacting to what charts are giving me, and that's what I'm doing here. I wanted to see Bitcoin go up because it meant that I could trade the alts to much higher valuations, and instead they continued to bleed. So let's move on to Ethereum, because Ethereum is looking a little bit worse than Bitcoin here. You can see it's also breaking this bear flag. We're going to call it a bear flag now because that's what it seems to be acting as. And it is holding pretty well currently, but still, I would like to see it make bigger moves towards the upside and follow Bitcoin a lot more. The reason why I don't think it's moving so much is because Ethereum BTC is also under a lot of resistance, as you guys can see. And until it's able to crack towards the upside, I think we are going to keep heading lower. You can see these nasty wicks coming to the downside and not really having that strength. So we're still waiting for Ethereum BTC to wake up. It's not driving this at all, just consolidating towards the downside and waiting for a breakup. And that'll only happen once Bitcoin actually begins running, because Bitcoin is the king. Now, if you guys watched my last video, I was talking about I had altcoins I was interested in buying, and XBL happened to be one of them. It performed really well. I ended up buying the dip here, and it moved towards the upside. And now I'm currently about 5% down on my position. I also bought here, but I'm holding that position. Now, the one thing I want to see out of XBL here is for it to continue to hold this level of about 0.25, because if Bitcoin continues to fall, I don't think it's going to hold much. So still holding, waiting to see if we actually do break down. It might show some strength by tapping towards the upside rather than going down with Bitcoin. There's a lot that could happen with XBL because it does have relative strength on its side, as it has gone down a lot more than the rest of the alts. When the rest of the alts did get bounces, XBL just continued to go down. So it might be the first one to finish the race towards the bottom. And yet to be seen what's going to happen with it if Bitcoin turns around. But I do think we have a chance to trade this to the upside and need to stay nimble and make sure we're not bag holding to zero. The next coin I'm taking a look at here is Aster. And Aster currently is doing really well, actually. I've got a lot of these lines from last video. But currently, what we're looking at over here is Aster still holding this area. However, if Bitcoin does break to the downside, then we are most likely going to see us fall back down to the bottom of this range. I do expect that to happen if Bitcoin continues to tumble towards the downside. So that's something to keep in mind. However, if Bitcoin manages to recover, these targets are still on the table. And even if we do break down towards the downside, these targets are still on the table as long as we hold the low of about 94 cents. So a lot to pay attention to. A lot of alts are also set up to go lower. If we just take a look at Sui, Sui isn't one of those coins that has performed well and is a lot weaker. Actually, let's take a look at Sol first. And you can see it's a breakdown from the bear flag. So a lot of these coins are showing a lot of weakness. Now, it might be a case that we have been going down for so long and we are very close to the bottom, or we have lower to go. Yet to be seen, hard to decipher, and we just have to work with what we've got. Sui here, you can see as well, we've broken down out of this bear flag, and similarly to how we did it there, we're doing it again, And then from that break, we had a 27% move towards the downside. If we do the same thing again, we're going down to about $1.50. So, but we can't really rule it out until we've changed structure. And as of right now, Sui hasn't really given me that confidence, that chart that shows that we're going to start flipping towards the upside. That can change literally tomorrow. So we'll have to wait and see how this chart develops. And Virtuals was another coin I was taking a look at here, but is also breaking this downtrend. So not looking great, but also on the flip side, we also have a bit of a ranging situation here with a little bit of a deviation, but for the most part, we are ranging. So this might be the bottom, moving towards the top again, continuing to range until the consolidation ends to move higher. On the flip side, we could be heading to $1, that psychological support as well, and something to watch out for down there. So if Bitcoin does break to the downside, I don't imagine Virtuals will maintain this position, and we'll actually see us move towards the downside. I'm more comfortable trading this to the upside than the downside while in this range. However, if we do break down from this range, we've got a nice 20% move, I think, to the downside if we just measure that, about a 20% move. So as of right now, waiting for confirmation on Bitcoin. What is Bitcoin going to do? Is it going to actually move towards the upside in this fashion? Or are we simply going to retest and break down again? So that's what I'm watching for, because if that does happen, it just opens the door for shorts, and I'm willing to take shorts because I'm not going to get stuck on one side. Just because the market isn't giving me the upside I want to see, there's still opportunity to take advantage of the downside. And that's what we'll be doing. So that's the current update. I'd prefer to go up, but that's just not what's in the cards at the moment. So with that said, guys, I'll come back with another update next week, and hopefully the market turns around soon. So with that said, I'll see you guys next time.